Good day, everybody. Welcome to another episode of MTV or Marauders TV. Once the cease and desist kicks in, and I'm sure that joke will cease to be funny after we've done 15 of these. But there you go. So we're back on our interview series. So I'm joined by Tom and Mark Busby, or Busby as he's commonly known. Same format as I'm sure you're used to now. This is the 9th in the series of these. So Tom, hand over to you.
Awesome. So same format as ever with these. We're just going to rattle off some quick questions and let you sort of freestyle it from there. Not musical unless you really want to.
I'm all right.
So sure, you're all right as in you're all right at music, or you're all right as in you don't want to.
Little option A, little option B.
Okay, fair enough. So first question, first and foremost, is who is Mark Busby?
Who is Mark Busby? Has everyone just gone, I'm Mark Busby?
That's always the first
I'm
bit.
Tom, yeah.
It's me.
Who's Mark Busby? Gamer, snowboarder, baseball player, dice addict, maybe.
Okay.
Don't know. I'd probably just about cover it.
Dad?
Yeah, dad as well. Yeah, married 2 kids. I've probably been gaming since probably about 1998, I reckon-ish, somewhere there. Back at school, some friends were playing, and I remember someone bringing a White Dwarf in and reading that
magazine, right?
Yeah.
Not...
Yeah, magazine. No, magazine. And I read that and I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. That looks all right. I think I went into, I remember being in Stockport and going into GW and getting an intro game. And it was Bretonians against Lizardmen.
Okay.
I think that was the starter set at the time, wasn't it?
5th edition? Yeah, 5th ed.
Yeah. And I played as Bretonians and obviously won, through my superior skill and tactical knowledge of the game. And I think they flogged me like 10 Bretonian bowmen for about a $5.
There you go.
And I was like, that was it. I was in.
Your first hit's free. Well, not free.
Almost. Yeah. It was good. Yeah, I think that just kicked it all off then. And I never really. I know some people sort of have breaks in the middle of the gaming and stuff, but I don't think I ever have. I think since I've pretty much been gaming solidly now for the past 23 years now. I don't think I've ever not gamed since that point. I've actually still got on that day when I bought them Bretonian Bowman, I got about 4 paints. I think a blue, a yellow, a silver, and a flesh. I've still got the bronze flesh paint pot, and it still smells of the old paints. And like, I was going to say
that was like brushing dishwater on your models, that as well, wasn't it?
Pretty much.
Flesh.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, the four paints is good going. That's more than I use now. Definitely more than Tony uses.
No strong tone at the time, no.
Don't know how I cope. No, that's cool. So you sort of answered the other question a little bit there, and obviously you're not just an AOS player.
No,
few other systems and things like that.
Yeah, so I mean, I was to say that Bretonian Bowman was my first box set. I think my actual first game I got into properly was 40k, because the majority of my friends at school were playing that, and I definitely played that more right up until sort of post uni. I don't think it was until I kind of came to the Marauders, or Marple Marauders as it was, probably back in about 2006-ish.
Okay.
Last year of uni.
Yeah.
When I got invited up to the club, when we used to play in Marple every week. And I think that was the first time I got into fantasy properly.
Because for the most part, although there's been people that have dabbled in other things, from an event point of view and things, we kind of have just stayed true to fantasy through its iterations, haven't we? like
Yeah.
various little offshoots and things like that. But as the Marauders, I know you've done a couple of 40k events as in the orange shirt and things like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, the club has always been focused around sort of the fantasy setting from Games Workshop.
Yeah, I mean, I think there was a point where obviously I had a small group of friends who I used to take to tournaments kind of in orange tops as almost like like an offshoot of us sort of thing. And I remember once being at a tournament in Nottingham, and Tony actually mentioned it, saying it's strange because you kind of like you kind of like bring the 40kers across into AOS, and I think that was at a time like players like Swiss was playing 40k with us, and now he's coming to AOS tournaments and stuff instead. And so I think I did kind of a bit more on the 40k side of things, and then but nowadays I just play AOS. Oh well, as well as other games like Lord of the Rings, Marvel.
Dirty word that on this channel.
Lord of the Rings, that's disgusting.
No, that's good. Obviously, you mentioned the sort of types of games that you play and things. So what sort of or type of gamer would you say you were if you were to describe yourself?
I mean, that's obviously that's quite a broad question. I think it's stupid to say like that. I think some people kind of go, I'm a competitive gamer, I'm a fluffy gamer, or I'm a narrative gamer. I would honestly say I'm somewhere probably smack bang in the middle of that. So I think it's stupid to say I'm not interested in winning, because I am interested in winning. I want to win every game that I play. And I won't take a list that's completely rubbish.
Yeah.
But I definitely think that I would tailor my list to something that I find is exciting rather than necessarily 100% optimized.
Yeah. That's fair to say.
A good example is like, for example, when I was running my Skaven, I wanted to run them in Spryer just because they were a bit zany and a bit different, and you didn't necessarily see it as much. And I quite like that. I quite like using something that's maybe a little bit different.
Yeah, I think the Scry is a good one actually, because you're one of the only ones really that stuck with it after the nerfs, weren't you? In inverted commas, like, or did you even have it beforehand? I can't remember. But obviously, there's a few people that picked up that list and did well with it in the early days. And then some points changes, some FAQ changes, max unit size on Storm Fiends reducing and things like that. And it didn't really put you off because it was what you wanted to use. Yeah,
that was it. I always, it was just good. And that just comes from the character of the army itself. And I think that's what's important. I think I pick the character of the army first, something that's important. And then I then look at, okay, well, out of this, what's good, what isn't good?
Yeah.
What do I want to use? What, is there a model there that is absolutely sick and I want to use that? So yeah, basically, that's how I kind of, I suppose, so competitively fluffy, competitively narrative. I don't know. It's somewhere in the middle.
You don't have to label yourself. It's fine. No. It's more of a
no. But that, like I said, that being said, if I go to a tournament weekend, which I obviously enjoy, I'm certainly not one of those you'll say, oh, I don't mind winning. I don't mind whether I win or lose.
Yeah.
I want to win. I want to come out with at least over 50%. That's my first objective. I want to get, a 3-2. Then I want to get a 4-1. And, I don't think I've ever gone 5-0 at a weekend.
You had a couple of 4-1s not that long ago, haven't you?
Yeah. I've had last kind of sort of the 2 years before the world stopped. I had quite consistently getting 4-1s up at eggs. I went 4-1 with Slanesh.
I didn't realize you came fourth then. I was looking through the results for something else. I can't remember what it was. And yeah, I didn't realize that you came fourth. So that's
Yeah. Yeah, I was playing last game for a podium. Then I was playing last game for a podium at Blood and Glory.
Yeah.
I came 7th in GT Heat 3 with Scryer.
Yeah.
When I think that was a certain Mr. Moore won it, maybe with the Change Host. Was that the year you won it with Change Host?
Could have been.
I've never been to a heat, so I
If you're
wouldn't.
not, you wouldn't know.
Not that you'd see on the rankings anyway.
Yeah. But that's actually a good example of, after that result, I had a number of people on Twitter like messaging me saying, "Oh, you've just come 7th with Scryer. What did you use? Like,
Yeah.
What did you use? How did you use it? What was the bits and bobs?" And I got covered on Warhammer TV on one of my games on that, and like people with their message on that saying that was really good and I like that and blah blah. So yeah, that kind of is cool, almost as much as getting the.
No, I think it's good to have two different mentalities like that. If you wanted, you can turn it on for an event, or you can turn it off for a club game. Or bit of both. Either way, and that's a sign of a rounded gamer, I suppose.
Yeah.
Are you trying to call me fat?
You can context's a wonderful thing. So obviously we've had a bit more of a rules download today than we thought we may get. That the core rules are now fully out for Age of Sigmar 3. So we've been asking players sort of what they're looking forward to, and things like that. But if you've had a chance to read the rules yet and things, is there something specific or something that's been going on in the club chat that sort of got you interested?
So what's quite interesting is that I'm kind of making a conscious decision to not read a heck of a lot. Now, that doesn't include today, because obviously all the rules dropped today.
Yeah.
It's a much clearer picture. And I haven't had time with work and stuff to actually have a look, and I probably will have a little delve now. But literally up to that today, that entire rules pack dropping, I didn't really want to go looking too much into all these little drip fed bits and bobs, because I think everyone puts 2 and 2 together and gets 54. And everyone it kind of puts you on a bit of an emotional roller coaster of, this is great, this is rubbish, this isn't going to work, that's going to work. I think you need to get the holistic picture of the game before you can actually start making comments. So I've tried. I mean, the chat's been going crazy, as you guys know, and obviously Twitter goes crazy and everything else, but I've tried to almost take a little step back and just kind of get ready for when I can see the whole picture. And
I suppose a good example is the coherency thing, and you follow that conversation through and you're like, oh my god, the world's ending coherency is awful. And then you go, but it's minimum size units bar 4 reinforcements, and suddenly you're like, oh, that doesn't really matter anymore because we've only got 4 in 2,000 points.
Yeah.
And actually it all starts to fit together. You're like, okay, the sky didn't fall in over there.
Yeah. I mean, if there's something that I'm looking forward to in the new edition, is I think one of the strengths of the game in general is the fact that it's ever changing. So, and I think that's what keeps it from getting stale in general, and it makes you change the way you play, your list you're playing. So a good example is I've been playing Edeneth. I was painting up Edeneth in lockdown. I've been playing Edeneth for what few games I've managed to get this year. But I found every single game has basically been, Volty coming up and just spaffing off his command ability.
Yeah.
And then suddenly it's like, well, actually, no, I can't do that anymore. So maybe I'm going to have a look at the Tidecaster list again.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, you can't stack the attacks anymore. Yeah.
So it's going to be looking at like maybe going back to a Tidecaster for that turn 2 always strike first, and then that changes your list completely and whatnot. But so it's going to be really interesting in the changes, and that's, I suppose, more than anything, that's what I'm looking forward to.
Good stuff.
See different lists, different models on the table.
Fabulous. Well, those are the 4 questions.
Yeah, so I guess it's to me to wrap up badly. So thank you, Mark, for coming on and being interviewed. Look forward to hearing more as we move into AOS 3 and some of those alternate list ideas that the cogs are already turning with you, I can tell. So no, it'd be good.
As long as you're wholly within 80.
Yeah. So again, Tom, thanks for coming on, and we'll wrap it up there. So don't forget to follow us, like us, bells, shares, whatever you need to do to make us better on YouTube. That'd be really much appreciated. So yeah, thanks very much, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.